As more buses of illegal immigrants arrive in Democrat-run cities, their leaders are melting down. After Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot sent a group of migrants to a suburb, the mayor of that community says he is, quote, not happy, unquote. Listen.
Very, very poor communications, especially if this originated in the city, where the mayor there criticized the governor of Texas for not, telling her in advance and giving her the courtesy, which she fully deserved, and I get what she was saying. But she just did it to me.
Let me get this straight. Lori Lightfoot, Chicago, Muriel Bowser, Washington, Eric Adams here in New York City. Sean, they appear to be taking the sanctuary out of sanctuary cities.
They really are. And I think it's fascinating where you had Lori Lightfoot, the mayor of Chicago, who's like, listen, you're a racist, Abbott. You're an unchristian man by busing people to my city. Yeah. But then what does she do? She buses the same people to the outside the city limits into someone else's community. I'm so sick of these hypocrites. Just let's be honest, let's be truthful and go, listen, this is not Abbott's fault. This is not an Arizona problem. This is a Joe Biden problem. Joe, stop the border flow, build the wall, and we'll all be happy.
Alicia, imagine being a mayor of a Texas town that isn't the size of Chicago, New York, or Washington, and then you're absorbing infinitely more illegal immigrants at this point. And yet you see these mayors complaining. How would you react?
Yeah, the fact of the matter is these mayors are experiencing a fraction of the frustration and problems that these southern border mayors are dealing with. They're very frustrated, and it's on both sides of the aisle. They don't feel like they're being heard by the Biden administration. They haven't seen the vice president show up to do any sort of help whatsoever. I thought it was interesting that Mayor Lightfoot expressed frustration that there at least could have been some sort of cooperation and coordination. Yeah. She said this with these governors of Texas and Arizona. Call me crazy. I don't know how she thought that they would actually believe that there would be some sort of cooperation or coordination with her.
Amazing, Alicia. Yeah. The Washington, D.C. mayor, Muriel Bowser, well, she thinks this is a public emergency.
Regardless of the federal response, which I think has been lacking in some respects, that the District of Columbia would continue to work with our partners to advance what we need and to make sure that our systems in D.C. are not broken by a crisis that is certainly not of our making.
LT, isn't it they're making, though, because they support the policy currently at the border, which says, come on in. It's like that scene, we're about the same age, 38 or so. You ever see 16 Candles?
I have seen it.
All right, and Jake Ryan's cheerleader girlfriend invites everybody back to the house.
Yes.
And everybody just floods the door.
Yeah,
that's basically the U.S. southern border right now. It's one big 16 Candles party.
I mean, it's so true. And of course, yes, this is their problem. This is of their making. It is, like you said, Sean, of Joe Biden's making. When you do not enforce the laws on our southern border and you essentially invite people in, which is what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have done, this is what you get. This is Joe Biden's America. And of course, it is not just contained to places that are physically on the southern border. This is a problem all across America. It taxes all of our systems whenever we have just an influx of illegal immigrants like this. Our school systems, our hospitals, our economy. We cannot sustain what is going on at the southern border, but it's so rich to see these Democrat mayors and governors and whatever it might be all upset about a problem that their guy Joe Biden put in place, and that's why we're here right now. It's outrageous.
But how thin-skinned is it where you get, just a fraction of the people that have come into the country into your sanctuary city, and then you lose your mind? Listen, it tells me these are liars. They really don't want to be sanctuary cities. They really don't want these folks to come into our communities.
You mean it was all about optics, Sean? Of course.
But it also goes back to this idea that, listen, we want to defund the police, but just not in my neighborhood.
Yes.
I want to defund your police, not mine. I want to have open borders, but just not in my city. I want it in your city. It's outrageous policy. And again, I think, and I called out Abbott, like, this is a joke, dude. Come on, you're going to bust people? I stand corrected. Brilliant policy because he's gotten under the skin of these liberal mayors.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott, he is definitely wins the very smart and very shrewd award because he has these mayors completely on the defensive and actually is getting this into the news cycle now. So.
I get the dumb award on that one. Like, that's a dumb policy. governors, you shouldn't do that. I'm like, oh.
I'm glad you're big enough to admit it.
I am. I have broad shoulders.
Yeah, and they don't feel the Biden administration is listening to them, these Republican governors, but maybe the administration, the thought is, will listen to these Democratic mayors because they're not getting through.
But isn't it fascinating how they're gonna blame the governors and not Joe Biden? I mean, it's fascinating that they'll just pivot the blame and we're too dumb to get it.
Well, where is Joe Biden?
Where is he? In the basement or in
Who knows?
Wherever.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.